Hello. Oh, it's wonderful to be joining you here. Welcome to our Changemakers Weekly Livestream. I'm Kimberly Carroll, and today we're going to be learning to be with uncertainty. Little bit of a hot topic right now. There is a 30-second delay, I will remind you, on these live streams. So I would really appreciate your help in letting me know that you're here, that you're seeing me okay, that you're hearing me okay. And I would love a hello. I'd love a hello and a hello where you're joining us from in the country, the world, in your state. So in the comments, first of all, letting me know if I'm live for sure. I'm just gonna check and see myself. I always have to do this. I wish I had an assistant to help me with that, but it looks like I am indeed live. Okay, excellent. So coming over to the comments to see if I've got anybody here with me. Okay. Aw, Jenny, hi. Thank you for letting me know you see me and hear me. And I'm so happy to do these. As long as people keep coming, I will keep doing them. As we collect, again, just saying a hello. Also, to help along to get this out to more people that could maybe use it, it really helps to like it, love it. We are broadcasting both to Facebook and YouTube right now. So if you're on Facebook, give me a heart. If you're on YouTube, give me a thumbs up. And also to share it. Right now, if you were to share it, it gives a nice little tap on the shoulder to somebody that might be really needing this right now or could really resonate with it. So share it. And if there's somebody in particular that's been saying, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this unsettled feeling in me, in a bit of a tailspin, tag them in the comments and they will, get alerted very quickly that this is happening. And if they miss the live, they can come back and watch the replay. Oh, Judy is here, and from Brandon, my hometown, because coincidentally, it's my mom. Hi, Mom. Everybody say hi to Judy. Audio and video, good. Okay, that's excellent. Thank you. All right, so a little bit of business here. We are going to be doing a little bit of writing today, so you're going to need pen and paper. And I also, this is a really good time to make this your sort of sanctuary time. So if there are other windows open, minimize them, maybe turn the ringer off on your phone, close the door, just get a little bit of quiet time because we're not just going to learn today, we're going to experience. Okay. I'm going to take you through a couple of exercises, one at the end that's a really pretty powerful technique for working with the pain of uncertainty. So I really want you to be able to be present and here with me. Okay, let me see here. Sue's here from Chilliwack, BC. Love seeing you too. She says, love seeing you, hearing you, and feeling your great energy. Okay, hug. I'm giving you a hug, Sue. It's the closest I get to hugging anybody but my partner, Matt. So I'm going to take it. All right. So as we're waiting for folks to join us, again, I want to go over today not only how to be and meet your uncertainty and sort of explore it and not just run from it screaming, but also maybe even how to relax with it, relax into it. Oh my God, that sounds like a tall order. I know, but we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about some ways that we could actually entertain that idea. So if you're just joining us, again, welcome to our Changemakers Weekly live stream. Today, our topic is learning to be with uncertainty. And if you don't know who I am Kimberly Carroll, and I'm a coach for changemakers. So I help people who are trying to make a difference in the world do that deep inner work, create the high performance habits and strategies that will really take you and your mission to the next level. So some of you are seasoned change makers. You've been doing this for a long time. You're healers, activists that are on the ground doing stuff all the time, organizers, leaders. Some of you are just dipping your toe into creating change in this world, and you're in your own little corner of the world. And that's wonderful. I'm so glad you're here. This is work that all of us can do, any of us can do, and most of us need to do, including this one. So one thing I want to just say right off the bat is if you are exploring ways to become more effective as a change maker, I have a brand new free course. It's Power Tools for Change Makers. It's a 5-part video course, and it's just like a really good crash course, like I said, in going inward, creating really powerful habits and strategies to not only empower you, but empower your mission. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that near the end, but I'm also going to put this in the comments so that if you want to click, and please, with this course, again, it's free, so share it around. I'd be happy. I want as many people to have this kind of support as possible. All right. Let me just go back here to, I'm always working my way around this, all the little bit of tech bits. So let's get back to learning to be with uncertainty. Just when you thought things couldn't get more unsettled. We, have been in the middle of this pandemic that changes daily by the hour. And then adding to that, just new levels of civil unrest and brutality happening towards protesters in the Black Lives Matter movement across the U.S. So, police brutality, the National Guard coming in, Trump. Oh, I don't need to say anymore. Just Trump, okay? It's ramped up this like air of unsettledness to 11, and sometimes this kind of upheaval has to happen for the world to crack open a little bit and be able to shift in the right direction, but it's always uncomfortable when it happens. And by the way, I have an article that I put out this morning, that it's called 10 Ways to Be a more effective ally for racial justice. You know what? I'm going to share that right now just so you have it, because I know this crowd, we're change makers. It's super important for us to show up for all of our brothers and sisters. And so I want to be able to arm you a little, give you some resources in order to be really effective in being an ally. There are a lot of us that are stumbling right now to be a sort of effective ally, to be able to help in a really truly helpful way. And so I don't have all the answers by any stretch of the imagination, but I've been listening for a few years. I've been researching, and I just gathered together some of the best resources, some of the sort of easier, resources that people can start digging into to be able to be an ally that actually makes a difference for Black people, for Indigenous people. So check that out. And I will also, no, I did put that in the comments. Okay, excellent. So where was I? So I was talking about it being dialed up to 11, this sense of unsettlement. And we don't tend to do well with uncertainty at the best of times, because there is always uncertainty. And we'll talk about that in a second. But right now, uncertainty is like banging our door to let it in, to be dealt with. So today, I want to do a little bit of work to go into that uncertainty and to see if we could find ways to be with it, maybe even to relax with it a little bit. So I want to start off, though, to do this work, we can't just be in our mind. It's important for us to be present in our body. And for those of you that are like, okay, let's go get going. I need the tools. I need the information. You will absorb so much more when you're in a state of openness and mindfulness. So let's just take a few minutes to close our eyes. Okay, I'm going to just move the microphone in a little bit closer so I can get a little bit more intimate with you. closing your eyes. And let's just start off with a nice, slow breath. Slowing down the breath lets the body know that you're actually not in a place of being attacked. It gives a cue to the brain that it's okay to relax open. And let's just do some shoulder rolls backwards. Nice big shoulder rolls right up to the ears, right down into the shoulder blades. Really feeling your body from the inside out. Don't just think this away. Try to get out of the mind and try to get into the shoulders. Seeing if that heart that might have gotten tightened and barriered up from uncertainty might even be able to stretch open a little bit. So stretching the heart open. Good. And then letting the shoulders relax back and down. And let's just start to get quiet. Now, when we're in a place of uncertainty, one of the hallmarks is that we get tight. Okay, we get tight in the mind, we get tight in the heart, but we get tight in the body. And that's what I want to concentrate on just for these next few minutes, is the tightness in the body. Okay, so I want you to start in the throat. All right, let's just start with moving the lower jaw back and forth a few times. Just maybe opening up the mouth, getting some big O's with the mouth as well. And then letting everything go slack. And just notice how much you're hanging on in the throat, how much you're holding in the throat. We go through so much of life like holding on for dear life. Okay, holding on with this ironclad grip in different parts of our body. So is that ironclad grip happening in the throat? And if so, on the next couple of out breaths, just see if you could let go a little in the throat. If you could soften the clenching, almost as if there's a hand that's been clutching the neck, the throat, and it just goes slack and soft, and everything starts to loosen, to relax. And let's take that up into the crown of the head and the forehead and those worry lines in between the eyebrows. Again, noticing how much you are holding on for dear life. And have a little bit of sense of humor about how we do this. Oh, poor little beings, always so scrunched up and clenched. So seeing now if you could breathe some beautiful spacious breath into this area, into the worry lines. And on the exhale, just seeing if you could soften this area, if you could let go of the holding. If you could let the clenching start to melt. Almost like you could feel those worry lines starting to melt away. And let's go down into the stomach. Whichever part of the stomach that you feel is needing your attention the most. For me, it's usually the upper stomach. And I'd like for you to notice how much you're clenching in the stomach. The solar plexus is traditionally a place where we hold just a lot of our fear, a lot of our tension. So there's probably it's probably on guard for just dear life right now. So first of all, just again, have a sense of humor, bring a little bit of love and compassion to this area. And with the next couple of exhales, just seeing if you could maybe soften and let go a little bit in the upper stomach. See if you could let the clenching start to relax. See if you could have mercy on yourself and start to soften in the stomach. And finally, let's come up to the heart. Again, just investigating what's happening with this heart. Are we just holding on for dear life in the heart? Is it clenching down tight? Is it closed? Is there a whole barrier built around it to try to sort of mistakenly trying to keep it safe? And if so, just see if you can kind of cradle that heart with your thoughts, with your energy, with your attention. And with the next couple of out breaths, let's see if we can soften the heart. If that iron-clad grip around it could start to loosen, relax. And might it loosen and let go just a little bit more. All right. Last thing, I want you to sort of gather up any of that tension that you kind of dug up, any of the fears, any of that junk that came up. Let's raise the arms up to gather it up. Take a big breath in, and on the exhale, let's just shake it out of our body, shake it out of the head, shake it out of the hands, shake it out of the shoulders, the hips, the stomach, the face, even the lips. Good. And when you're ready, coming back to eyes open. Oh, I know I needed that. How did that feel, folks? I'd love to hear. Tell me which area that we checked in with was clenching the most. Which area was most hanging on for dear life? I'm curious to know. And remember, I love being here, but I love being here more when I have some back and forth. So the more that you comment, the more that I feel like I have company here, like you're here in the room in a circle around me. So that was just one little technique, and you don't, it's a powerful technique. So you actually could stop there. Don't, but you could stop there, and you could just use the technique that every time that you're in uncertainty and you start to grasp or you start to panic or clench, just the words letting go and exhaling can be so powerful. That's pretty well my meditation. I mean, I do some variety, but my basic meditation is out breath, letting go. Out breath, letting go. Because I am one of those people that my tendency is to hang on for dear life. I've had a lot of anxiety since I was a kid, and it's something I've had to deal with a lot. And so I've had to learn the art of surrender over and over again. It'll be a lifelong lesson for me. So I know of what I speak. Now, of course, some of you might be thinking, well, I can't just let go. This is serious. This is important stuff. Like, this is life and death, sometimes you're thinking. And yes, I absolutely agree. There are so many things that are worth our time and attention. But it's really about recognizing that we can't be on high alert all the time. We can't be nailing it down and figuring it out all the time, because we lose our capacity in that state to think, to feel, and to act out in ways that are actually effective. Okay, so I want to get into that a little bit more. Judy said it's the stomach, always the stomach. Yeah, upper stomach, lower stomach, probably upper stomach. Yeah. What about the other ones of you that are watching? I'd love to know what area it was that most holds on for you, that has the most holding. So we are talking about, if you're just joining us, learning to be with uncertainty. And like any other form of pain or discomfort, this is the good and the bad news. Um, you can't ignore it. Okay. You can't numb it out. You can't get around it. You can't nail it down. You need to find a way to go into it to be able to process it. So I like to say the only way through it is the only way past it is through it. Okay. The only way past this pain of really any kind is through it. So we need to find ways to be with the feeling of uncertainty and to actually, well, first of all, to be with it and be with the discomfort of it. And then we can learn maybe to find some space to relax into it. Uncertainty. Let's just talk before we sort of go further. Let's just talk about this whole idea of uncertainty. Sorry, I'm using a new keyboard today, so I'm a little bit slower on the uptake. So there is always uncertainty in our life. Okay, we can kid ourselves and think that everything's pretty stable and secure and we've got things nailed down. But come on, folks, there's always uncertainty. I mean, most of life is uncertainty. We're all heading towards an end that we have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. There's no more uncertainty than that. We don't know what's going to actually happen when we walk outside of our door. We don't know what's actually going to happen when we stay inside of our doors. And so what we're having to face right now with just this, again, amped up degree of uncertainty is an opportunity to learn to get more comfortable with uncertainty, which is going to be a really great thing for you in your entire life. Okay. It could really shift things. It could really change the game for you in your entire life. So this whole idea of uncertainty and the way and what happens when we are in uncertainty if we're not trying to be with it in a conscious way is we grip. Okay, we tighten, we like bunker down. There's a tweet, a hashtag right now that says bunker Trump right now. I just had to throw it in. It gave me a good laugh. We go into our bomb shelter, and so and in that place we become debilitated. We can't access our whole mind, our whole heart, our whole spirit. We are just sort of a quarter life. We're a quarter of our capacity because we're tight. We're in such a tight ball. We can't respond properly to life if we're not in our whole open self. Okay. And we come by this survival mechanism very naturally. It's back in prehistoric times. We had to be on guard because there could be a saber-toothed tiger that would jump out at us at any moment. Okay. So we've learned to get tight and tense. But in this day and age, with so much stimulus coming at us all the time, we're constantly tight. We never have the relaxed response that's supposed to come after that sort of tightening. Okay, so we just spend our whole life hanging on for dear life, white knuckle gripping it. And so not only, again, does the body get tight, but the mind gets tight. Okay, it starts going into these spirals. Okay, these record grooves. They get intense. They fixate. The mind fixates, and then our heart gets tight. And all of a sudden, we don't have room for anybody else. We lose our generosity. We lose our ability to connect, our ability to empathize, understand. And with that, damaging behavior starts. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about that damaging behavior. Just going to check here to make sure everybody's okay. Hi, Robin. Lovely to see you, darling. Okay. So one of the first things that can happen with any kind of discomfort, but especially the discomfort of uncertainty, is the desire to numb out. Okay, just the mission to numb out. And that's usually in the form of some kind of addiction, whether that's like alcohol or drugs, whether that's food, whether that is consumerism or sex or video games, but just a way to get away from it, just to not feel it because it hurts too much. And we don't have the tools to deal with it. So we run, we try to shut it down. doesn't go away, folks. Okay. It does not go away. It will just be waiting when you come out of that numbed out state, which I hope you will come out of, because I don't want you to get to the end of your life and feel like you didn't experience any of it. You didn't feel any of it because you were so numbed out. So that's one way you can go with uncertainty. The other way that a lot of us are caught up in right now is the need to nail things down, okay, to make things certain, okay, to basically abolish the uncertainty, okay, delete it, get rid of it. And that leads to a variety of things. Incessant worry, okay, so that your mind is never settled. And when we have incessant worry, when we're always trying to figure out, how do I put this in order? How do I, get this figured out? How do I make myself safe? What do I say? What do I do? Again, we run into all sorts of ways that mess us up. So we get scattered, which ruins our productivity. And a lot of us here are trying to change the world, folks. We can't afford to lose our productivity. We also disconnect from the moment. Okay, so we don't feel the senses, we don't feel the air around us, we don't hear things, we don't truly take things in, and that robs our joy. Okay, so we lose our joy. And again, as change makers, we need joy to fuel us, okay, to ignite us, to keep us alive, to keep the blood coursing. The other thing it does is it disconnects us from others. When the mind gets too tight and fixated, we do not have the bandwidth for others, and our relationships suffer. And some other things that happen is we're so intent on grabbing onto anything certain that sometimes we grab onto things that take us away from our purpose and our integrity. You're seeing a lot of conspiracy theories popping out right now, a lot of kind of scary stuff going on around that. And the fact is, when there is that kind of uncertainty, people will grab onto something that's even a scary prospect rather than being in the discomfort of not knowing, of uncertainty, of mystery. Okay, they'll grab onto something that's really scary, but that has order, that they can be certain of. That makes them feel like they've stamped out this uncertainty that was much scarier than the thing that they've nailed it down with. So human nature will always prefer grabbing onto something certain than being rudderless. And we've got to be really careful about what we grab onto. And also, when our mind is tight, which means closed-minded, our heart is tight, closed-hearted, we get defensive. Okay, we no longer are responding to the world. We're trying to fend off attacks, and often we fend off attacks by attacking first, making other enemies, perpetuating fear and hate. So, have I convinced you that uncertainty not dealt with can be a dangerous thing? Say yes or no in the comments. Are you on the same page here as far as what the effects of uncertainty are? And I think probably you're here, so you already know, and that's why you're here. So what can we do to not get swallowed up by the sort of limited patterns of uncertainty? So the serenity prayer is always, it's a great, thing to come back to. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's old, it's simple, but it is very wise. So let's talk about the courage to change the things I can. So when you're in a place of uncertainty, that's kind of level one. Level one is finding a little bit of solidness and structure where you can in a healthy way. Okay, folks, it's not going to serve you well for all of your safety nets at once to disappear. Okay, that's too traumatic on our systems. So before we go into the work of being in this uncertainty and this discomfort, I want you to have a little bit of structure that's healthy. Okay, a little bit of solidness that's healthy. So Where can you find a little bit more routine in your life right now? Has your routine gone out the window in the last 3 months? The things that you used to do to make you feel, centered or strong or connected. Is there anything that you could add to the routine or tighten up a little bit? Are there habits that, a daily habit that you could put into place that would really assure that you're tending to this sense of being a little bit more grounded? Um, is there a schedule that you can keep to a little bit more that will give you some structure? Are there relationships that you could connect to more regularly that give you some foundation, that give you just more security? So, my question here is, what touchstones could you put into place that you don't have right now that could just allow you a little bit more grace? I kind of think of it like, for anybody that does yoga, sometimes we use props in yoga. And some people think props are cheating, but actually, what if you have a well placed prop, what it does is it makes the body feel safe enough to let go in other areas. Okay, so if you're able to put it under your spine, the shoulders could let go a little bit more. Okay, for example. And so this isn't cheating, this is just assisting. Okay, this is finding healthy props to help make you safer for the harder work of the next piece, which is the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, AKA surrender. Okay. Loosening the grip, letting go, what we practiced in that opening meditation. So, surrender is just learning to not grip or grasp in moments of discomfort, to learn to soften and learn to let go. And so we did a lot of surrendering in that first meditation there. This idea can go very far. In Buddhism, there is actually a meditation that involves imagining dying with each breath. So the ultimate letting go. Okay. I know that sounds a little scary, but I have tried it. I had a very debilitating fear of death for a long time. And so I needed to be with it. I needed to see if I could relax into it. Believe me, it did not happen at first at all. But eventually this meditation became quite powerful and comforting for me. So surrender, it's I don't know if I've got any of my surrender folks on this live stream, but I've got quite a few coaches that they scream when I mention the word surrender because it's something they've been working on for so long. Now, surrender again can happen in the body. That's the first place to start. So when you're finding yourself holding on for dear life, no matter what it's around, to see if you could let the body relax. Okay, find where in your body you're most holding on to this with this uncertainty, and with the exhale, soften, let go. Practice with both of those ideas. Same thing in the mind. You're going to have to get used to letting go in the mind. There is only so much thinking you can do about something. My advice with, a big issue that you're struggling with that's causing a lot of uncertainty would be to have some appointed time each day or each week, depending on how big it is and how much time it needs, but an appointed time where you write out write out and try and problem solve and go into it and all that sort of thing. And then on the times outside of that, when the mind starts to try to hook into it, I want you to say, letting go. Say this for the appointed time, letting go. Okay. You can't just not think about it. I know that. So, but have a deliberate conscious time when you are really coming to this with your whole self and not just this sort of half head of spinning thoughts. Okay. And then when those thoughts come up, and they will come up incessantly, you keep saying, it's okay, sweetheart, letting go, letting go, letting go of the thoughts, letting go of thinking, letting go. And one of the pieces that is important, again, just so that we don't it doesn't become a bypass, so that it doesn't become something like, okay, I'm going to ignore this, I'm going to run from it, is that when you catch yourself gripping, really breathe into it first. Okay, breathe into that feeling, breathe into where it is in your body, feel the hurting, feel it, breathe into it, and then the softening. Okay, that's a key little piece. Now, here's another big piece of this puzzle. It is hard to surrender when there's nothing to catch you. Okay, when you think that there's nothing to catch you. Surrender requires a certain amount of trust that it's okay to let go. And that trust can be hard to build, but it can be built on a variety of levels, from really tangible to more esoteric. So I want to take you through a few of those sort of aspects of building trust. Okay, the first I just talked about tangible, and so on that first level of what we can trust, well, is your own resilience and your own resourcefulness. You're still alive. You're sitting here, you're alive. You've done something right. Okay. You've managed to get this far. And it's important for you when you're thinking about what's going to happen if this happens, what's going to happen if this happens, what if I'm not this, what I'm not, what if I'm, it's good to remind yourself of what you are capable of and how many times you have figured it out, how many times it has worked out. I know it doesn't always work out. I know life is full of just such horrendous pain sometimes, but you probably made it through that as well. You're here. Okay, you might not have made it through wonderfully with flying colors. You might be still really bruised and tired, but you made it through. So I would like for you to grab your pen and paper here for a second. And I would like for you to just take a minute to write down times in your life that you've shown resilience, okay? Where you've shown your resourcefulness, when it's been really hard, but you got through it, okay? Let's just take a minute. So grabbing that pen, grabbing that paper, what were some of the worst times in your life? How did you get through them? Where have there been tasks in your life that you were like, I can never do this. This is too much of a mountain. But you've managed to do it. You figured it out. Was there ever something you aspired to be or have that you're like, that's a long shot, but you somehow managed it? Let's remind yourself of how much you can figure it out when you need to. And also, it's good to remember that not everything that seems bad at first stays bad. So were there times that seemed like really bad, but then something good came out of it, or you really grew in a powerful way from it? Just writing down, big or small, whatever you can find. And I know this can be quite personal, but I would love if there was something that you wanted to share in the comments. You know, one little piece, one little thing that you were able to get through or able to accomplish when at one point it felt just so uncertain. It just took a lot of your resilience, a lot of your resources. I'll give you just another 30 seconds to finish this list off. Okay, wrapping this up. So have this list nearby for the next little while. Maybe even once a day for the next week. Just read through it and add to it. This is just the beginning. I mean, you might not have thought of many things, but just keep, the brain will keep going on this a little bit and add stuff to the list. This will be your list to remind you that you can do hard things, or that there's always possibility. All right. So the next level of trust, all right, is being able to put your trust in something else outside of you, okay? But something still a little bit more tangible than the level that we're going to go to. Robin just shared that she left an abusive partner even though she still loved him. Yeah. Oh, Robin, you are one resilient lady. You're a resilient mofo. And and to be able to recognize that and go, wow, the amount of courage that took, for that person at that point to do this. Unbelievable. Beautiful. Hello, Matthew. All right. I'd love to hear more. I'd love to hear more in the comments if you want to share as well. Thank you, Robin, for that share. So, what else can you put your trust in? What else can you turn to in times of uncertainty that is, again, a little healthier? So, first of all, there are others. Okay, there are others in your life that are pretty solid, that love you, know you. This is something, when I put myself out there in sort of unsafe, sort of situations emotionally, as a change maker, especially, sometimes it can feel like the whole world's kind of coming down on me. And there are a handful of people that I will call on, I don't even have to call them physically, but I just bring into my sort of awareness, into my sphere, and I think about them and I think, they know me, they understand me, they would never leave me. Okay. And if you have those in your life, so very lucky. Use that. Okay. Surround yourself with that. Let that hold you, cradle you in times of uncertainty. Even if you can't be with them or even speak to them, you can feel them, their love. You've been cultivating love with them your whole life, or probably a good portion of your life. So you can call on that. You can even call on the love that you built with somebody who's passed. Okay. And that brings me to the other idea of love. Love is a certain thing in this world. I mean, there is just love everywhere. Sometimes it feels like there isn't. Sometimes places and beings can seem very vacant of love. But there is love. It drives us as humans. Okay, so love is a wonderful thing to be able to fall into, to let go into. Another thing is your mission. Okay. A lot of you have something that means so much to you. And so to be able, to come back to the certainty of that, of your integrity with that, of the, come back to the certainty of that this is meaningful for you, that this is important, that this is something that you stay firm and committed with. Okay, so those are just a few examples, okay? But finding those aspects of life that do feel solid, that do feel like they can kind of wrap you up and hold you for a while. Then we go to the sort of deepest level. And again, this is a little bit more esoteric, but this is the level that ultimately we all have to start to work on to be able to always be with uncertainty. Because this level is never changing. We can lose people and situations from our life. There can be a change in lots of states and being, but this never changes. And that is your true nature. Okay. It's called different things. It might be your energy, your awareness, your essence. I call it my universal nature. Okay. The part of me that is a part of everything. The part of me that recognizes that I am connected to everybody and everything, always have been and always will be. That's the part of me and you that is, I think, infinite and eternal, pure awareness, pure energy. And in that place, you don't have to worry about whether this gets done, that gets done, whether you perform to this level, lose this, whatever. It always is. Now, I might be like, rah, rah, rah. You're like, I don't, not even there. That's okay. Okay. I just want to put it out there as a possibility of where we can go. Now, how do we cultivate this peace? And I believe me, I've worked hard to cultivate this peace, and I only get a sliver of it sometimes. And it will be, again, my lifelong sort of mission, lesson. And that is, it can be through meditation. Meditation is a practice of trying to sort of get under the layers of impermanence to be able to relax into this just open awareness. So different forms of meditation are yoga, dance, movement. Um, a lot of people can reach this place through nature, through their time in nature. Nature seems to be even more rooted in this. There's not so many layers separating them from its true nature, through from its true universal nature. And so some find being in nature is just a way to remind themselves of their belonging in all. Okay. Some people have spiritual practices, religious practices. Some people have figures that they go to that remind them of this boundlessness that you are a part of. So again, you don't need to be at this level to work with uncertainty. There's the other levels as well. But what I want to do now is I want to take you through a real experience of what your particular form right now of dealing with uncertainty can be. Okay. And it's going to be very different for everybody. So what we're going to do now is a face. Okay. It's a technique of mine I call face, FACE, and it's great to use on any forms of pain or discomfort, but it's really good for uncertainty. So I'm just going to check the comments to make sure that you're all doing okay. All right. And I'm going to ask you to get really comfortable, okay? Even if you can even lie back for this one, this would be great. And I don't, am I getting shiny? Because it's so hot up here. I'm on the, yeah, I'm getting shiny. I'm on the top floor and it's getting warm. Not quite as shiny as last week, but okay. So getting yourself comfortable, again, turning off everything. This is a place of sanctuary that we're going into right now. All right. So before we head into this, I want you to connect to, I want you to choose one particular place of uncertainty for you. Okay. It might be financial uncertainty. It might be around relationship. It might be around a person that you're worried about. It might be about uncertainty whether you can deliver what is needed of you. So choose one specific situation right now that feels pretty activated for you. And I'm going to move my mic a little bit closer and lean in. And I'd like for you to close your eyes now. And let's start off with the F. Well, you know what? Before we even start, I want you to get a bit more present. So rolling the shoulders back a couple of times just to get into the body. Feeling the cricks and cracks of that. Letting the shoulders relax back and open. Now I'd like for you to just listen to the sounds around you in this moment. I hear birds and a fan. What do you hear? I'd like for you to notice the temperature in the air. And does it feel dry or humid? Is there any movement in the air? And finally, taking in the smells of this moment. What are you smelling? Not letting the smells take you on a ride somewhere else, but letting them root you right here, right now. Letting the shoulders soften and letting yourself go inward. And now we'll start with F of face, and that is feel. So as you bring to mind this place of uncertainty for you, locating where in your body you're most feeling it. Often it shows up in the heart or the upper stomach, the throat, the forehead, the root, the lower belly. Notice where right now you're feeling this discomfort of uncertainty. And really get to know it. Does it feel tight? Does it feel swirling? Is it kind of nauseating? Is it hard? Is it cold? Is it hot? And I want you to breathe right into it. I know that feels scary, but again, the only way past something is through it. So breathing into it just to get familiar with it, just to sit down and have tea with it, just to start dancing with it. And now bringing your hands to that place on your body where you're most feeling it. You might even rub this place just to let it know that you're paying attention. As we move on to A in face, ask. So this is where we ask this pained, vulnerable place with just as much tenderness as possible. What's happening here? What's really happening here? What are you scared of? What are you really scared of? What is the story that you're telling yourself that's making you feel this way? And that story could be anything. It could be, I'm going to die. It could be, I'm going to get left behind. I'm not good enough. I'm stupid. I'll be alone. I'm going to be broke and destitute. And just see if there's a layer that you can go even deeper than the first answer and say, and what scares you the most about that? What are you the most afraid of? And just find some understanding for this poor being that's in this pain, this discomfort. Probably caused by a lot of limiting patterns that were never their choice, that were instilled in them so early in life before they had any awareness or very much awareness. So being on the side of this poor, pained, vulnerable being. And you can keep hanging on, or you could let go of the hands, whatever feels good to you, as we move on to the C of face, compassion. Now, what we do in this part is we explore what the most compassionate energy thing would be to bring to this place right now, what this place most needs, what this place most needs to feel to transform it, or what it most needs to hear. So often in this place, I will imagine myself being, wrapped up in a bigger, sort of more boundless version of me, sort of cradled. Sometimes I'll just feel the wide open sky and that freedom and that boundlessness, or I'll feel, the strength and stability of Mother Earth beneath me. Sometimes I'll call upon another figure who represents something to me that is sort of bigger and more powerful, more compassionate. So knowing this pained place in you more intimately now, what does it need from you? What does it need? Just see what comes to mind. Does it need softening? Does it need freedom, wide open sky energy? Does it need to feel all the edges dissolve in its oneness? Does it need to feel surrounded by loved ones? Whatever it needs, give it to them now. You don't need to wait. You have this energy inside of you. You couldn't imagine it if you didn't. So pour this energy into this pain place in you. Feel this energy wash over you. Breathe into it. Roll around in it. Relax into it. Don't hold back. And maybe there's even a message or words that go along with this energy. Is there any words, any message that this pained part of you, this uncertain part of you needs to hear? Breathe that in. And start to rest in that. And the last piece of face, the last step is E, evolve. So knowing this answer that came up for you, this form of compassion for right here, right now in this situation, what is a shift you could make in your life? What is a way that you could incorporate this? What is a way that you might be able to root this in your practical life? Just see if something comes up. And if nothing comes up, just imagine, just visualize yourself being in this energy, in this uncertain situation. Just embodying this energy, breathing into it, feeling it, emulating from you, illuminating from you. Or maybe there is a particular action, like once a day there's something you're going to do, or you're going to put a reminder on your phone, or there's a relationship you're going to deepen, or there is a word or mantra that you're going to speak whenever you start to get tight with this worry of uncertainty. Once again, no matter what comes up, see and feel yourself being in this energy, doing this thing. And again, resting in that. All right, let's take in a nice big cleansing breath and just shaking yourself back to eyes open. So I'd love to hear what the energy was or the words that came up when you went into that place of see compassion. What was the energy or the message that you were sort of called to cultivate in the face of uncertainty? Please share in the comments. I would love, love, love to hear. And yeah, and face again, I'll keep on using that tool with you because I think it can be a really powerful one for you. Make sure, it's one that you can pull out for anything, any kind of pain, any sort of discomfort. All right, we are at the top of our hour. I have kept you for a full hour now. I need to let you go and practice and do what you do. But before we go, I just want to remind you that if this work resonated with you, then please, please do check out my Power Tools for Changemakers course. Okay, it's a 5-part video course that covers everything from overwhelm busting tools to pain processing tools, productivity tools, bridge building and persuasive tools. Again, a toolkit that every person that is trying to make the world a bit of a better place can use, okay, to work on both the inner world and the outer world. So I'm going to just put that once again in the comments so you have it. And please do share this. This free course. All you need to do is sign up, and as soon as you sign up, you're going to get the first lesson instantly. All right, I'm going to be back next week. And I know I should know what I'm going to talk about next week. I think I'm going to have a guest next week. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Mystery guest. It was a bit of a busy week. I was going to have it figured out. And after a sick cat and various people in trauma in my life and computer breaking down, I plain forgot. I hope you'll join me next week anyway. All right, Thursday, 1 p.m. I'm always here on Facebook and YouTube. And I hope that you will continue to join me. I hope that you will get out there and, work with your uncertainty so that you can show up with an open mind, an open body, and an open heart. We need so much more of that out there right now. So I really implore you to do the work to be that in the world. All right, folks, sending you lots of love. Mwah. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.